This Clovis cash blade biface crystal effigy is, in my opinion, one of the top 2 Clovis artifacts ever discovered. The number 1 Clovis artifact ever discovered, I believe, is pictured on my homepage at antiquitiesoftheamericas.com. And it's the featured video, the periwinkle blue featured video on the homepage. This is its companion. I have strict provenance on these. These were purchased by a woman who bought them from the finder. The finder was Lady Nellie Thompson. She found them on her property in the late 60s, early 70s. And the woman I bought these from was a friend of hers and acquired Lady Nellie's, or much of Lady Nellie's collection, probably about 15, 20 years ago. And she's had them in her collection all this time, and recently put them up for sale just a couple of years ago when I was fortunate enough to acquire them. When Dr. Michael Gramley visited me last July of 2022, I handed him this beautiful specimen, and the first words out of his mouth were Clovis scraper, to which I replied, well, yes, but it's a Clovis cash blade, and to which he agreed. And this is a Clovis effigy cash blade. Many Clovis effigies, many cash blades are effigies. We collect them out at Calico Hills. The surface, 80% of the surface finds, according to Dr. Michael Gramley, are Clovis at the Calico Hills. And they left Clovis bifaces, mainly preforms, scattered all over the hillsides. Those were mainly meant to be effigies. Many of them are what I call story stone face and mammoth effigies. I was the one to discover the face and mammoth imagery combined. So, and they're very common throughout the world, by the way, going back to Homo habilis 1.2 million years ago. But these are from Mount Shasta. And these are volcanic glass, naturally occurring volcanic glass from Mount Shasta. And this volcanic glass is the most beautiful of all the specimens I've collected. It comes from Arizona. It comes from, a lot of it from Indonesia, and it comes from China. But these are from Mount Shasta. And what we have here is a very obvious face, and a very, very obvious and very nicely crafted face. They use the inclusions in the stone to image the eyes normally. And in this case, they use the natural bubble in the stone. This glass has natural bubbles, just like Libyan desert glass has natural bubbles. It was obviously formed at very high temperatures and cooled probably very quickly. This is the eye, this is the nose here, and the mouth, which has all been flaked as the open mouth facing left. And there's actually another face to be made out with that, the eye, the more big rounded nose, and then the mouth down here facing right. That'd be the older face with the big round nose and the mouth down here. And then this would be the younger face here. And you can see that, not only that, but they actually etched the hair on top of the head. That's all been etched. That's another technique I discovered when I discovered the Libyan desert glass specimens over 2 years ago. I noticed for the first time the etching technique that was employed in imaging the hair of the human faces and the hair of the mammoths, because every story stone effigy has 2 mammoth images. Right here, we have a natural hole in the glass that's come to the surface right there. And that's the eye of the mature mammoth now facing right. What a great mature mammoth, using that hole, which was a bubble, for the eye of the mammoth. Outstanding. And this is I think why Dr. Michael Gramley called it a Clovis scraper. Well, it looks like a Clovis scraper. It's the way they made them. This is mainly unifacial on this side, not totally. It's certainly been etched for the hair very beautifully, but mainly unifacial. And then on this side, it's all been beautifully flaked with paleo flaking that you would expect on a Clovis cash blade. I have a Clovis cash blade that I found made out of obsidian, and it has some etching on it, by the way, and it is from Bishop, California. I found it at Bishop, and when you lay this side by side with the obsidian piece, it's an exact outline, basically, and it's pictured on Antiquities of the Americas. Go to the More drop-down box and hit Photo Gallery, and it's on page 4 of the photo gallery. You'll see a side-by-side with this and the Clovis cash blade made out of obsidian that I found at Bishop, California. And you'll see that they're identical. Now, here technically is another mammoth image. There's the eye, or here, that bubble, the eye, and then this would be the trunk off to the left. That's not quite as dynamic an image, but it's a good image. And then when we turn it this way, we're going to have a mammoth now, and this is the baby mammoth with a more exaggerated eye that's been flaked right there. And that eye is the eye of the mammoth, flaked into the stone, and it's facing left. So we have a flake there that's kind of the eye of the mammoth facing left. And we also have an eye further up, which is that bubble. And we also have another great human face on this side with the nose facing off to the right, and this the eye of the face. And the etching on this side is really, really, really quite impressive there. That's all been grooved and etched. And when you examine those grooving lines, because they are grooving lines, they're etching, those lines are actually made up of 2 or 3 or 4 smaller lines. Let's see if I can get a better view there. It's hard to focus in on those lines, but they're actually, you can see the lighter lines up here are also for the hair on top of the head, but that's also for the hair on the side of the mammoth when we hold it this way. So that hair there is etched, and each of those etching lines is actually 2 or 3 etching lines that are used to form a bigger groove. It's very obvious when you look at it with a 10-power loop, or really you don't even need to do that. But there's the eye of the mammoth now, right there, the hole, facing left. And this is the flake side. And this is the mainly unifacial side, but really meant to be viewed on this side. And this is one of the most outstanding face images that is so obvious with this, the eye, the nose, the mouth, and the hair etched above the wavy hair that you can see through the glass. Our paleo ancestors, Clovis, were very skilled, very, very skilled, very, very creative when it came to stone working, and these cash blade effigies are absolutely the finest Clovis artifacts, in my opinion, ever discovered.